Hello and welcome to another wonderful episode on your favorite talk show on 70 TV, where we have honest conversations about real issues shaping our lives and relationships. Today we'll be tackling a topic that has quietly lingered in many homes for generations: the preference of a male child. In some marriages, the joy of welcoming a child is clouded by the unspoken question, is it a boy? So today we'll be discussing the preference of a male child. Why does this preference still exist in the 21st century? Is it culture, tradition, economic reasons, or deep-rooted family culture? We'll be unpacking the history, the emotional impact it has on couples, and the changes needed to break this circle in today's program. So, whether you're a parent, a soon-to-be parent, or you're just curious about the traditions that are shaping families, stay tuned and listen to us as we unpack this particular topic. My name is Gloria, and as you all know, I will not be the only one discussing this topic today. I have two wonderful guests in the studio. I have me, Barrister Ekwema here. Barrister Ekwema, you're welcome.
You're welcome.
Thank you for being here. And I have Mrs. Chika. Mrs. Chika, you're welcome.
Thank you.
So you've heard the topic, the preference of a male child. Why is it still a significant issue in many marriages? So, sir, what do you think about the preference of a male child as a legal practitioner?
Mm-hmm. Okay, we are confronted with a topic or an issue that has resonated in various families and homes. If you ask me, there are three fundamentals I would like to mention that is contributing to the present state of affairs that we have. First is the spiritual factor. Second is the culture. And third is the legacy. Let me begin with the spiritual, because the spiritual controls the physical. Yeah. We are told from the book of beginnings, the book of Genesis, chapter 1, that God created the heavens and the earth. And immediately after the creation, the next thing we saw that God decided to make man. The first person God made was man. Man is male. Okay, and then after God made man, he now made a female, called a woman. And then the story didn't stop there. The thing proceeded. God now needed to do something. God saw that the man was alone. He needed a helpmate. And God said, I'm going to give you a helpmate. God made the woman. Then when it was time for the first man and the first woman to start procreating, the first thing we saw in the Bible that Adam and Eve stayed together as husband and wife, and Eve became pregnant and gave birth. And the first baby that came was a male child. Cain. We all know the story. And then subsequently he came back to Abel. Now when the story started from there. Now when Cain also married, Cain gave birth to a son called Enoch, a male child. It didn't end there. Enoch also got married and gave birth to a male child, Arad. Arad married and gave birth. He gave birth to a male child. The sequence continued. Even Seth, even when Cain killed his brother Abel, Eve took in again. In Genesis chapter 4, the Bible told us that Eve gave birth to Seth, a male child. And Seth said, let me not take you down through the scripture as if it's more of a contemporary issue. So I think basically, and I want to take us through all the women in the Bible who were apparently or seemingly barren. By the time God visited them with a male child. And when the male child came, subsequently, female child also were added. I think that if you ask me, these biblical antecedents are issues that present us with the current precedent we have. Why the preference for a male child? This is what I will tell you. The first ladder is spiritual. And then, can I proceed? Okay, if I should proceed further, we also have what we call the cultural imperatives that are staring us at the very first. This is Africa. And one thing that has stayed with us over time here is the fact that our culture has dictated the way we live, the way we move, and the way we appreciate things. So I think in African culture, predominantly and dominantly too, the preference for a male child has held sway over time. The reason is because in some communities, when a woman gives birth to a male child, people say the family has a defense. There's a defense. You don't come to the family and make noise anyhow. Because you know that when you're coming to a family, there are male as big as you are that can challenge you. So that has been the culture here. And also in some cultures in distant places like in Anambra State, for example, if I must mention, when you want to visit a family, and probably as a male, you want to see your uncle or your relatives. When you want to ask them about their children, you don't ask them about the females, so that they won't be so. You want to answer or ask about a male in the family. How is Ikenna? Ikenna is not the only person in that family. Ikenna may have other siblings, females, but you must ask, where is Ikenna? So basically, I think cultural influences over time, these things are here with us. We don't pretend as if they're not here. Attached to that cultural consideration is also the fact that a man or a woman who are married over time and they don't have a male child, no matter how spiritual they are, even though spirituality plays a very big role, except people who are just noisemakers, bench warmers in church. No matter how spiritual they are, somehow they feel there's this sense of inadequacy. There's this sense of, God, can you just give me, even if it's one child, one male child. So it's there. It's there. And where out of biological or, possibly medical reasons, the next thing they can do is to go and do legal adoption. So I think culture plays a dominant role here, apart from the spiritual side that has given us a precedent. Why? It started with God. And just like I would also tell you, there is the issue of legacy. Legacy is also very important. Every family will want to leave a legacy for their children. Yeah, we're not saying that the female child or the female folk are not important. You know why? In a family where you have 3 males, 3 women, there is this understanding we have in our society that the men will stay. They will marry and bring in wives. But the ladies, the females, will marry outside. So if a man has a property, if a man has properties and he has no male, so long as he feels this property is wasted, or my kingsmen will come and take all the property, because the females in the house will marry and go over to their husband's house. So I think probably these are issues. So men, fathers want to have legacy in their homes, and they want those legacies to be protected, carried over to the next generation over time. And in most cases, male children help and foster that kind of transition over time. Legacy moving from one point to the other. We're not saying that the law, when we'll talk about, can I come into the law?
Okay, just hold on a bit. In regards, like you said earlier, these are the reason, legacy and the need for you to have a male child in the family is the reason why male child is valued traditionally in our community. So, Ms. Chika, why do you think Mr. Barrister Kwemahe has made mention of the reasons why male child still is very, very much valued traditionally? So do you have anything to say in regards to that, or do you concur with him?
I concur with him actually. It's actually a thing of Africa. In fact, it's something that is a norm that goes within the Africans more than the Westerns. Because if over there in the US or UK or whatever, if once a woman gives birth, whether a girl child or a boy child, is accepted, they don't understand this issue of perpetuation of family line or continuity of family. They don't understand all those things. For them, they have risen beyond that. They see it as equality. Of course, it is. They are equal. Okay? But the problem is that it's also creating some discrimination on the female more, because in certain traditions, they say a woman is not entitled to family inheritance because she is a woman. The males are the one that will inherit. And somewhere in the western part of this country, okay, in Ghana, let me not use the western part, because even in the western part of this country, the males are still getting some inheritance. Let me use the Ghanaians. The Ghanaians value the female than the male. It's that bad that, in fact, if you are giving birth as a woman there and you don't have a female child, you're as good as not having a hair. The female is the hair, whereas the male are the ones waiting for. In fact, if they have 10 boys and 1 girl, the girl is the heir apparent to every property. What she gives you is what you take as a man.
But it's not so in our culture.
It's not so in Nigeria. Is the reverse, is the opposite, is the thing here. I would even use from my place. I will use my own place as an example, a very key example, because it's something that is known amongst the Mbise people. The Mbises don't, the issue of male child is a very serious problem that it puts a lot of pressure on the man. You see him, if his wife is not giving birth to a male child, you see him either go and pregnant a woman outside or adopt a child.
Okay, quickly, we'll talk about the emotional impact it has on the couples, on the long run. So let's quickly move down to, let's talk about this preference for a male child has been there for ages.
Yes,
it has
been there.
something that has been there right from
Yes.
those days,
Yes.
days ago. Now, there is, in recent times, there's civilization and all that coming in. So does this preference still exist in the urban areas?
It's still existing. Like he said it started with God. It started with God, but that was not God's plan. Okay, that was not God's plan, because the issue of let's look at the importance of the both. That's how we'll now get to narrow it down. Now, what's the importance? Like he said, is legacy, continuity. A woman gets to actually get married. Let's be very, very, logical about this. Let's, see it. It's happening before our eyes. A man is always here. He will marry and bring it home. But the woman will marry and leave. They even answer the man's name, possibly buried there. Okay? Does not mean God didn't say, because I'm giving you a son, she doesn't have inheritance. No. God didn't say that. God was not that. He was giving them sons to keep on the legacy of manhood. Okay? To continue that perpetual manhood line. At some point, they were also having ladies. They were having daughters. But they have now seen it that because the man is the one that stays at home, he is now more preferred. The both children are all gifts from the Lord. The Bible says children are a heritage. It didn't say the male child is a heritage or the female child is a heritage. It said the children are heritage and the fruit of the womb. So in other words, if he rewards you with the fruit of a baby boy, it's a gift. He rewards you with the fruit of a baby girl, it's a gift, because both are important in a family. And their importance can never be overemphasized. In a family that there are only boys, no child, no girl, there is a problem. In a family there are also girls and there's no boy, there's also a little issue. Like he said, in a family where the men are seen as a defense and warriors, when a person comes to your house and you have a son, it's like a wall of defense, a kind of a protection. You don't just do any harm there. And that is why it is in fact it's a nature God put in men, that they are the defense system for the women. And that is why even when a woman is getting married, what she is looking for is not only love, she's looking for a safe place. These are the things that women are looking at. She's looking for a man that cares for her financially, emotionally, because that's their line. And then she's looking for the safe place, because the man that's why if you are talking to a woman anyhow, whether her brother or her husband or her father is around, she'll tell you, mind how you talk to me, or my dad is around, or mind how you talk to me, or my husband is around, mind how you talk to me, my brother is around. That's the defense. And even if you can't do anything. So also the women are also channel. God kept them as a help me. That help me there now is there are things the men can't do. In the aspect of keeping a home, a man is not functionable there. No, even if he somehow had good home training on how to keep a home, it's not his thing. A woman is groomed in that way. And when a woman is in a home, you will see the difference. There is this sense of, organization and, homeliness there. But the man is, all that. But recent times now, we are seeing that even the so-called men that they are giving birth to for the sake of defense, for the sake of taking care of their parents, is the women now that even takes care of their parents more.
All right.
Let's face the truth.
All right. Let's quickly go on a short break. I'll be back. We'll continue from where we start. Thank you. All right, welcome back from that very short break. Before we went to that short break, we were actually talking about does preference still exist in the urban area? And Mrs. Chika here made her points and said it does still exist as long as we are in Africa. So let's quickly move to the cultural aspects, the modern day reality, the cultural and traditional expectations from women. When we come to marriage, there's this cultural expectation as a woman that you have to, if you don't give birth to a male child, you're not yet a woman.
Yeah.
And this particular issue has brought about a lot of mental, or let's say mental challenges and depression to a lot of
Controversies in
women.
the family.
Because if you come to families now, you see a woman, especially when you go to, let me say she gave birth to the first child, is a female child. She gives birth to the second one. The next thing you hear is it a boy or a girl? And when I tell you it's a girl, there's this kind of silence that goes with another girl again. So let's talk about the cultural and traditional expectations it has on women in giving birth to a male child. What do you think? Why is it like that? Especially on women, we are not the creators of children.
Yes.
We are not. We give birth to what is being put into us. So why is it that the tradition expects us, like is a mandate that as a woman you must have a male child?
Okay. I would say it this way. Yes, like I said before, is the pressure that the culture puts on the family that, gives rise to these things. Because most times, if it's in a family like all these elite kind of family, people who are with the seats and the positions, they tend to have legacies that they have a son. So if you come, you must have a son. Just like that, it's continuous. Maybe it started from their grandfather or great grandfather and all that. But like I cited that scripture in the Bible, that children are heritage of the Lord. God did not start giving a male child to undermine the female. It was to state the fact that yes, to improve or to continue the perpetuation of the manhood line. Without the man, there won't be any woman. Let's also know that without the man, there won't be any woman. It was from the ribs of a man that a woman came forth. There was no initiation of having a woman in the first plan. It was, let's make a man. And then when the man became lonely and God saw that there was need for a helpmate, because women are very important, both in the society, social strata, and everywise. There's this saying that educate a woman, you educate a nation. Because women is like a computer. What you send in, they give you multiple. So it's not in their hands to know whether it's a male or female. They are the egg carriers. They are the womb carriers. What they birth, the birth world, the birth nations, the birth gifts, the birth influence. And that is why their influence is too tight upon the seeds. The man is the seed carrier. The woman is the egg carrier. What he implants is what fertilizes. Okay? So the pressure is coming from the family, the culture, and the inheritance, whatever. But now the law has permitted the women to inherit. It's something that even I am part of that discrimination. I came from a home that we were all girls. We had no brother. It's affected, it's something that even affected me even while burying my father. I was condescended and forced into certain things I was not meant to do, just so that I could lay my father to rest. So it's something that is bad. But me, I have sons. I have sons by the grace of God. So it's a culture and it's like a pattern. So if you come into a home, look at the pattern of that place. If there are people who are known for having sons, because it also has a way of affecting who you choose to marry. They will say, they don't used to have male children there, or don't go there. It becomes even a problem, even choosing a spouse.
But how can you actually tell if this person is having, if this family has male? Because I believe that children is something that
That
just
is what I'm saying. You can't. They used to know. They when they go, there's something they call Iju Ajuju. Ask questions. You go when you go make inquiries about the family of the person that they want to come from, the person's hand in marriage, or who the man wants to go. They will check whether in their family they used to have male children. These are factors they go to check. Do they used to have male children? Nobody is even checking whether they used to have female children. Do they used to have male children? So that thing is having it becomes a problem, and God keeps proving them wrong because whether if it's not happening here, I can make it happen. I am the one who gives the children, not her. The woman doesn't even know what will come forth. The woman doesn't know what she is carrying until she goes for a scan. Until a certain level of the pregnancy, she begins to go for a scan. She's not the one that fertilized the issue or the mystery behind conception is beyond human comprehension. It's only within the status of divinity where it remains. Nobody knows what happens in there. Not even the highest occultic man does not know what happens inside the womb of a woman until the child is comforted.
All right, let's talk about the psychological effects it has on couples and their children. Because okay, some time back I heard a story of a woman who has 5 kids. She had
Yes.
5 girls, and she got pregnant for the 6th one. Giving birth to the 6th one, it was a baby girl in the hospital, and she started crying that she can't go home with the baby girl. That if she goes home with the baby girl, that she's finished, her life is finished. And something happened in the hospital because the the person that experienced it was one who was telling me the story. She said she gave birth to a child. It was a male child. So before they took the baby for cleaning and everything, she asked them to bring her baby forth. They brought the baby forth, and she just hugged the baby and like, you understand, get to know okay she had the baby before she passed out and slept. So when they brought the baby back after she regained consciousness, they brought the female child to her. And when she took the baby, she was like, "This is not my child. No, I gave birth to a male, not a female child."
Mhm.
And at the end of the day, they now heard that there was a woman next door who actually gave birth to a baby girl who was looking for a male child, and they wanted to help her swap the child. Now, this issue has brought a psychological effect to that woman
Yes.
because she don't know she has this. Only God knows what she's going to face at home when she gets home with a female child, knowing fully well it is not her fault. And it also has effect on the children.
Not only the children, both the woman and even
Because some men
in her
actually
family.
even take it as far as transferring their aggression to their female children.
even the family. She cannot have access to talk in certain meetings, especially maybe women gatherings.
Yes,
In a
so,
women gathering, they will tell
so
her,
in this
why
in
is she
this
talking?
particular case now, the psychological effects it has on couples and their children. Barrister, what do you have to say on this particular case?
Okay, straight on, I would like to tell you something, and then I believe you understand or appreciate where I'm coming from. Several people have said this is a man's world. I don't know whether you've bothered to think about that before. This is a man's world. It's a capital statement. If you begin to open that statement, it begins to tell you a whole lot of things, locked up in that statement. But can I quickly tell you, there's a lot of psychological, emotional, and several other burdens on the women, on the female folk, for not giving back to a male child. Before I say that, can I tell you the reason? The women also, they are contributing to this pressure, both the emotional and psychological, even the economic pressure as well. For example, you mentioned of a woman now that gave birth to 4 or 3 girls, and the next subsequent pregnancy was a female. Now, my experience tells me this, and which is correct. Watch that woman. The very day God helps her now to give birth to a baby boy, nobody will hear. She will create a panic in the environment that will make people to know that a baby boy has come. They are contributing to the pressure. I don't know whether you understand what I'm saying. In Igbo culture, let's get back to the culture. In Igbo culture, when a woman gives birth to the first time a baby girl, second time baby girl, third time baby girl, she's quiet, humble. You will hear her voice. I'm talking from experience. This is not a test play. The moment she gives birth to a baby boy, her wings will rise, her biceps will puff up. And people will say, okay, why? Why is she talking like this? She begins to talk. People say, can this woman talk? Because of a baby boy. She is contributing to the problem. Tomorrow she'll come and begin to blame the male folk. No. The pressure is there because the women have not learned how to soak the pressure and keep it there. They are contributing to the pressure they are facing. Let's face it. If you understand what I'm saying, I just want to be very factual with you. So the pressure, call it emotional, call it psychological, call it anything, is here with us. It has come to stay. But I think, and correctly too, that the female folk has a role to play to enlighten themselves and alleviate this burden if they adopt the right approach. When you give birth to a baby boy, don't make so much noise. When you give birth to a baby girl, don't make so much noise. The pressure will begin to die down. Indirectly, you are attacking that culture. Indirectly, you are attacking that culture. And if every woman takes this approach, sooner than later, the preference for male child will begin to die down. Why? Because when you give birth to a baby boy, thank God, you go your way, no noise.
There is not so much excitement and all that.
Yes. If the female folk, the question is, can they adopt this approach? Women being what they are, wanting to show they have arrived. When you make that noise, people will begin to, you apply more expectation upon yourself. This is a problem. And except we begin to appreciate it from this point of view, solving it becomes like a far cry. I don't know whether I've made a point to you now. So he's here with us, he's here, and we have a lot to do. The man has a lot to do, the woman has a lot to do. It's a teamwork. And until we begin to appreciate this and then adopt an approach to some of these realities, we will still be where we are, shouting and crying as if anybody's clean up. Finally, can I make this point very clear to you? It is not God's intention that a female will go through what they're going through now. No, it's not. God didn't pattern this world this way. We brought that burden upon ourselves because of the preferences and the choices we make. Let me tell you, today, if you are 20 years, for example, you are the totality, the person you are today is the totality of all the choices and decisions you have made. God is not to be held responsible for what you are going through. Somehow, but God can help you. God can give you advice. They tell you, do this, do this. We have left God, we have left the principles of the Word of God, and we have dabbled into our man-made illusions. And that's why pressure is everywhere. That's why today we are crying. The God that gives a male is the same God that gives a female. Finally, can I make this point so that I can wrap up this issue? Yes, God gives a male child, God gives a female child, but the advancement in technology, in medicine today, will make it possible for you to plan and get a baby boy. X chromosome, Y chromosome. Medical consultants have told us what to do to have a male child. How many people are taking advantage of that? You don't want to improve yourself, you don't want to upgrade yourself, and you are feeling that the Holy Spirit will come and put a male child in your tummy. It doesn't work like that. So while we are praying, you see, God has a role to play. You also have a role to play. Take advantage of technology, take advantage of medical breakthroughs, and God willing, God helping you. There are a lot of couples today who, I know a woman who has four girls. By the time she was educated, doctors called her and said, look, tell your husband, come, medical counseling. The next baby she had 2 boys. God allowed medicine, God allowed technology. So let's take advantage of it. One way or the other, God willing, this pressure will die down.
All right, thank you very much. Mr. Chika, quickly, before our time is fast spent, what advice would you give to couples facing this kind of pressure out there?
The advice I will give them, in addition to this, is to what he said, because what he said is important. Let's explore the medical facilities out there. There's IVF. There's so many things around this issue of conception and baby boy, baby girl. Another advice is this: the men, please, they should take it easy on the women. No woman, I repeat, no woman knows what child that will be formed. She is not the one fertilizing. The issue of conception is beyond human being. And so no woman should be held responsible for what is in the tummy or what was given. And again, there's also, I think there's a way they used to calculate it. If you want a baby boy, when a woman is ovulating, there's a when the time you target her, when a man meets her, the tendency of her having a male child is there. Yes, it's on the high side. But if after the ovulation, any other way you meet her and she gets him, the tendency is going to be female. So explore all those options. And then while exploring them, don't forget the option of prayer. Because in all these things, God still stands the highest. He keeps proving men every day wrong that though you may explore this, I am the final say in the issue of giving birth to male and female. And so while it's not just leaving it on the woman, every day the woman is going for prayer, she's going for, it's a two-way thing. It's a joint thing. They don't just leave it on her. She's facing, it's not easy on her. A lot of, she's just at the receiving end. They dump everything, they dump it on. Even to the extent that someone will be responsible for the infertility in a marriage, and they'll dump it on the woman. They say it's the woman. Let her meet a man now. You see how she will get pregnant under 24 hours. So please, the men should limit and reduce the pressure and appreciate that woman and help see how we can do this thing, because it's not her fault. She is just an egg carrier. It's them that is the seed, the ones that, because in the biology, it is the man that has the X and Y. The woman has XX, not Y. So it's when the Y that comes to the X and fertilize, that's when the boy comes. So let them not begin to expect that she will automatically produce, or I don't know, do abracadabra and produce a baby boy. It doesn't work that way.
All right. Thank you very much for that wonderful conversation. Barrister Ukpema, thank you very much for being here. Mrs. Chika, thank you. It was really, really nice having this conversation with the both of you. And so our listeners out there and our viewers, thank you for watching. As you've all heard what we said today, be it a male or a female, they are all children from God. Children are heritage from God. Less the pressure on women. And until we start changing our mentality on the aspect on the preference of having a male child or a female child, we cannot make this world a better place. So let's work on ourselves. And the male, please help your wives. Like Mrs. Chika here said, she is not the problem. She's an egg carrier. She's not a seed carrier. So whatever you put into her is what she gives birth, and to the society at large. Let us help in changing this biased culture. Let's find a way to work things better. Thank you very much for watching. God bless you. And as we come away next time, I remain Gloria. And please don't forget to follow us on our YouTube channel, like our Facebook page, comment, share our TikTok handle, and share. Please leave what you feel and what you think, your opinion and everything. We will appreciate your opinion a lot. Thank you for watching. Until we come away next time. Bye for now.